Dortmund 0, Newcastle United. Sorry, Borussia Dortmund 1, Newcastle United 0 at St James's Park tonight. First defeat of the Champions League campaign for the Toon Army. And it was very much a game of coulda, woulda, shouldas. Very much a game of too much needed with too little time to go. And they gave it a push and they ended up hitting the bar late on twice in this game. But they just didn't get going. And Dortmund came with a plan. They came with a tactic and a system that worked very well tonight and were worthy of the 1-0 win and worthy of picking up the 3 points. Man City, a comfortable 3-1 win in the end for them. They huffed and puffed a lot in the first half and kind of struggled at times to not so much break young boys down. They didn't put the ball in the back of the net. There was a lack of clinical edge from this Manchester City team. They go 1-0 up very early. It then goes 1-1 for a sublime chip. A fantastic finish it really was. And then more refereeing controversy has hit football. And you and I are going to debate this tonight because either Man City had a goal ruled off incorrectly or young boys were robbed of a stonewall penalty. And we're going to talk about both of them on the show tonight because this isn't about whichever one whether City got robbed or whether young boys got robbed of a decision. It's not about the other team and attacking them. It's about the consistency that we, the fans, need in football. We're not dropping this. I know it's painful and maybe it involves your team, but it has to be discussed. It has to be discussed. There's no doubt about it. From a City point of view, look, they'll be happy for Haaland to pick up his 2 goals in the Champions League tonight, 1 from the spot. He's second, by the way, and Man City's third was an absolutely sublime effort into the roof of the goal. 0 chance of the goalkeeper touching it. And look, City were always going to cruise through this group. They always were. Their next game will be at home against young boys. They'll slap them up at the Etihad. That'll be 12 points on the board. Qualification sorted, rotate and rest for the final 2 games, and job done for the defending European champions, of course, looking to be the first English team in the modern day format of the Champions League to retain that trophy. But what Newcastle? And I want to restart with Newcastle here today because they annoyed me tonight. Newcastle really got under my skin. They came out, and both the fans and players, they came out, and there was noise. There was a wall of noise and passion. It was an intimidating place to be. And there was 2 or 3 really good attacks early on from both sides. Newcastle were the aggressors. Newcastle were having more of the ball. Gordon went through on goal as an example. Isak, I know he came off injured and that impacted the team, but he was looking dangerous. And Dortmund were countering and doing well. As soon as they scored their goal, though, Dortmund, it took the life and the soul and the belief out of Newcastle as a club. The fans went quiet, and it's so hard to make good noise as away fans in Newcastle United because you're up in the heavens. And they did. The Dortmund Ultras took over. The players' heads went down. The first 20 minutes of that second half, do they know they're 1-0 down? They were playing as though they were 2-0 up, 3-0 up, and cruising. Towards the end of the game, the intensity levels rose. And look, they were helped a little bit by Dortmund, in my opinion, were a little bit sloppy in the second half. They didn't put the game to get the game to bed. But I think Newcastle will look back at this game and they will certainly feel disappointed at the lack of intensity, the lack of cutting edge and clinical edge when it comes to the final third in this game. And then when their intensity left, the fans, it went quiet. And that doesn't help you on a Champions League night against a very experienced European team such as Borussia Dortmund. But this is all part of the learning curve for Eddie Howe, for Newcastle, and this group of players. I genuinely mean this with respect, even if it doesn't sound this way. I think 80% of this Newcastle squad in 5 to 6 years won't be here. They are going to keep investing, rotating in and out players and improving this squad. I say 80%. Maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, but it's going to be a high amount of attrition still in this squad. But they are learning and learning and learning all the time, Newcastle. And they'll be criticised. I'm criticising them tonight. But listen, I see a lot of rivals and a lot of other members of the top six are desperate for Newcastle United to not be the real deal. They're desperate for Newcastle United to flop and fall away. It's not happening. This is a team that is here to stay for the foreseeable future. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. I now need to talk about the controversy in the City game. City were worthy of their win. In the end, they were. They were the better team. But we have to call out the inconsistencies, even if we don't believe it would have had an impact on the game. A few people said this the other I don't care we didn't get our decisions go right. We didn't deserve to win. That's not going to help with consistency. And the reason I talk about that is this. I want to know what you all think. I've got my opinion. You're going to have yours. Man City had a goal disallowed because Jack Grealish miscontrolled the ball in the build-up. And as he miscontrols the ball, his trailing arm strikes it accidentally. Accidental handball. But because he miscontrolled it and it wasn't a deflection, and then it deflects off of his hand and he maintains control of the ball, and there is an advantage to Manchester City, the ball was rightfully ruled out for handball. Why this needs to be discussed is only a few moments later, earlier in the game, Jack Grealish controlled an overhit cross with his right foot that you can see is in the air. It was a poor control. The ball was going to bounce behind him. Now, he didn't purposefully handball it. His arm was up. When you watch it in real time, his arm was in a natural position. But the ball's going to go behind him. He lost control of the ball. It hits his hand. He then maintains possession. And City get the advantage because he's able to clear their lines and get the ball up the pitch. So as I've stated already, this is either City being robbed of a rightful goal or young boys at 1-1 were denied a clear penalty. And for me, looking at the law of the game, you cannot, if the ball deflects off of Grealish, or the ball shot, hits his leg or hits his thigh, bounces onto the arm, no penalty 100%. But it didn't do that. He miscontrolled the ball. It hits his arm that's outstretched, that's well outside the silhouette of his body, which enables him to maintain control. The exact same thing. Of course, his arm was lower this time, but the exact same process takes place in the build-up to the goal, and they say it's handball. And as far as I understand deflections onto the hand, but it's not a deflection if it's miscontrol. So I'm calling this out because I believe that young boys, I believe that City should both be calling this out equally because we need to know why that was done. As football fans, that is exceedingly confusing for me. Exceedingly confusing to me. So I want to get your views and I want to get your opinions on that, people, in the comments section below. Was it a penalty or were Man City robbed of a goal? My view is it should have been a penalty and that Man City's goal was rightfully disallowed. I don't remember ever seeing a bylaw that states if you miscontrol the ball and then it strikes your outstretched arm and you maintain possession of the ball, that it isn't handball in any scenario, penalties or attacking. And the fact there is VAR to review this is crazy. And it's another huge inconsistency. Now, I still think City would have gone on to win the game. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't call these decisions out. Because if you don't, at some point in the future, your club or my club is going to be impacted. Now, City fans, from the angle's misleading. It hit him on the chest. Listen, don't gaslight people. That is nowhere near Jack Grealish's chest. And it didn't hit his chest first. Again, this isn't, and I was going to come to this before you spoke. This isn't about attacking City. City have done nothing wrong. City haven't cheated. City haven't paid referees. City should not be lambasted or attacked for this. This is not about tribalism. This is about consistency of decisions. Because those two were given, and they're identical situations, but two different decisions in the same game. And if it's not called out, we are only helping to the further erosion of consistency in our game, and it should not stand. I wish, again, you don't need me to play the video. Just go on to TNT Sport or Discovery Plus and you can see it yourself. Here we go again. Listen, and it could be here we go again, but it's funny, really, because whenever I stick up for a team that's not Man United, when they've been robbed, everyone goes, oh, he's amazing. As soon as I'm not attacking City, and I've said it once, and I'll say I'm actually not going to repeat myself again. Everyone knows I'm not attacking Manchester City. Normal rules don't apply when you wear sky blue, but this is the thing. I don't think it's got to do with City. We've seen inconsistencies that have benefited Spurs, that have benefited Liverpool, that have benefited Chelsea as of late. First day of the season for Man United, an inconsistency that benefited us with Onana. Everybody gets this. This is not about City cheating. This is about the referees being inconsistent and nobody being held accountable. And until fans all come together and talk, but do you know, again, Klopp did it the other day and well done to him. Pep should be coming out tonight and condemning this to help football. It's not going to impact City's future, but we've got to drop the tribalism on these inconsistencies. Otherwise, we're going to kill the game. We're going to keep killing the game. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. City fan here, Grealish, very lucky he didn't get called for a penalty there because I think that's a penalty and the disallowed goal is good. Listen, thank you. Look, as a City fan, I appreciate the honesty, and I think most City fans will feel like that. And by the way, we are all screaming for a penalty if that happens to us. That's what you would say if it happens to you is what your true belief is. Is what your true belief is. And we would all say penalty because he lost control of the ball. Fair play to you, my friend, for being honest. Langan Sweet says Terry is being biased, but you just know I'm not biased. Because when Onana did what he did, I was the only Man United fan on socials calling it out, saying it should have been a pen. And I said, and I titled my video, Wolves were robbed. So if I was biased, I would ignore it when it's my team and only do it when it's everybody else's. I defended Liverpool 4 weeks ago in the Spurs game. Just under a week ago, I condemned what happened in their game. For me, that is the antithesis of bias. But there we go. Look, I'm bringing D-Man and Hamza out now to have their say, to talk about their teams, talk about this decision. Terry, talk about Everton. Did that on a show earlier on today, my friend. Please watch all that content. It's all on there. Just go back. Watch Straight Facts earlier on today. Already been discussed. We've got Hamza. We've got D-Man on the show with me now. I want to go to D-Man first of all, bro. Disappointing night for Newcastle. Really didn't get started until late on. Give us your thoughts, bro.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, disappointing result. I thought going into the game, I was confident. I thought we could get the win, given how we performed against PSG and the form that we was in since then. And I just think, well, first of all, fair play to Dortmund. I think, you know, over the course of the game, they deserved the result. I think too many individuals didn't perform tonight. I think only maybe Gordon and Bruno, to some certain extent, they can hold their heads high. But I know we hit the woodwork twice. You know, we went close. Wilson should have put one away. I just think the performance was too flat. Like I said, we didn't get going. I think the Isak injury really changed things. Eddie had to change his game plan early on. I think hopefully that's not too serious. I know Murphy's gone off injured as well. Positive to see Willett back after such a long layoff. But to a man, I mean, it was just flat. They wasn't offering nothing in the first half. I know Gordon had a couple opportunities, but Pope had to put off that great double save early on. And I think that just from there, I could sense the goal coming. Well worked goal as well. But Gordon, you know, he going on one of his runs and good tackle, but I think experience, you know, you laid it off. And they were calling for a foul. I don't know why. That was a very good tackle. Good finish as well. It just makes things, it puts a whole new spin on the group. Because now we're third. Got to go away to Dortmund, which I'm not too confident about. Away to PSG. It's looking a bit ominous at the moment, but we're still in it. On another day, maybe we've got a point, you know.
You certainly are. And look, I think Dortmund, they played, I tweeted and said outclassed Newcastle. And I suppose everybody views that from a different standpoint. A lot of people would go, well, they didn't have more of the ball, therefore they couldn't outclass them. my interpretation of that is just they had a game plan that came off. You know, it was narrow win, but it just worked well, and they absorbed and they countered well. And yeah, you hit the post 2 or 3 times in the game. But I just, you know, what I said at the top of the video, D-Man, it all felt a little bit too much, too little, too late from Newcastle in the end. And I think this is where, and I know you've always been a Newcastle fan like this is where you're still such a fledgling team in terms of this development under the Saudi ownership, under Eddie Howe, that I think sometimes people think of you in a wrong way, in my opinion, that you've been at the top of the table now. You've been in the Champions League 4, 5, 6 years, and you've gained this experience. It's going to take a while. I thought Anthony Gordon was really good tonight. I thought Wilson was good when he came on, but you also saw the inexperience in the Champions League at times as well, if that makes sense.
An experienced striker puts that away. The chance that Wilson had, he really snatched at it, and I thought he should have done better with that, to be fair. But like I said, Gordon played well. Wilson to a degree, Bruno, but it was the inexperience. I think Dortmund showed their Champions League experience tonight. Like I said, they stuck to their game plan, and once they got their goal, I just knew they'd see it out. I think we could play another 90 minutes if we wouldn't score. It's a shame, but you know their centre backs played very well as well. I just think, given the fact how we played against PSG, but to be fair, everything went our way against PSG, and I knew we'd have to dig in to get a result today. But I just thought we'd offer a little bit more, given the form that we were in. It's just too flat for my liking. We just couldn't see it. There was no creative spark at all, and I thought probably Trippier's one of his worst games that he's had for us for a long time. And yeah, it's just, I don't know.
I hear you, mate. I hear you. It's one of those tough ones because you know what went wrong, but you also know where you are as a club and what you're developing into. And Newcastle fans are not about to throw the baby out with the bathwater and go crazy. And, you know, I think Isak going off didn't help as well. He looked very, very dangerous. He had that bit between his teeth up against his old team. And it'll be interesting to see. Is there any word of what that is? Was it hamstring or something?
I'm not sure.
No word yet.
Yeah, no word just yet. I ain't seen Eddie Howe's interview, so I don't know what he said about it, but he didn't look comfortable. So I think he'll be out for a couple games.
It didn't look so great. Hamza's with us here as well. Another, in the end, a comfortable win, but a bit of a dicey first half in terms of putting the ball in the back of the net. But in the second half, a Kanji and a brace from the brilliant and the effervescent Erling Haaland gives you another 3 points in the Champions League, mate.
Yeah, fantastic performance. Young boys are the Swiss champions last season. You know, in the Champions League, you can't take anyone lightly. We came to that game quite confident. We already had got 2-hour wins. We dominated the game. We had 68% possession. The XG we had, I think, 3.97. According to them, they had 0.47. We had total shots of 26. They had 4 shots on target. It was an easy game. I think City were very comfortable. Okay, they caused a little scare, but I think City were too experienced for this game. We're used to playing in the Champions League now. At the stage, we know how to play teams like this, small teams like young boys. We're not here for shockers. We come there and we just beat teams quite comfortably. I'm not being arrogant, but City have got winners now, and our experience showed it today. The why we won the Champions League. And today, I think our performance was impeccable to go 9 points, 3 games out of 3 games, battered Leipzig, battered Young Boys, and beat comfortably Belgrade. Performance was outstanding, and I think we could have scored more. We could have been 4, 5-1, 6-1, but I think we just took off our gas. And you're talking about that decision about the handball. I think from the other angle, it hits his chest. The refereeing and the standards of refereeing in the UEFA Champions League is elite, is way elite. They've got the technology to look at it very closely. And I think they knew straight away that was not a handball, because the way he hit him, it wasn't at all. So I think the performance showed that we're ready. Your boys are scared on Sunday. You look scared. You're looking for excuses already, Terry. Get ready for Sunday. Get ready. You guys are going to get beaten.
Okay. What excuses am I looking for? What have I said that's an excuse about Man City beating Man United on Sunday?
You're trying to downplay us like from this game. It's because you know we're coming for you on Sunday. 3
Okay.
games to go. I
Where
think
did
the
I
game we look
where
forward
did
to
I
is
where did I downplay you? What did I say that's downplaying?
the excuse about the handball.
So again, you weren't backstage when I started. I spoke about how you deserved it. I said I still think you'd have won the game even if it was given. And I very, very clearly 3 times in when I spoke, Hamza stated this isn't about attacking Man City. City did nothing wrong. It's about us calling out the inconsistencies of decisions. By this same logic, if Man United beat you at the weekend with a dodgy decision, I assume you're not then going to complain about it.
Yeah, but this one, I think it was a correct decision by the referee. The technology, they looked at it very closely.
So what actually happened? I didn't see it. What
The
actually
first
happened?
one, he hit him. He hit.
So I mean, Jack Grealish controls the ball, and he miscontrols it, and the ball's going to fly over his head, and his arm's up already. He didn't move his arm to the ball, but he's going to lose control of the ball after a bad bit of control, and the ball then hits his arm, and then comes back in front of him, and he volleys it clear. And in my opinion, if you miscontrol a ball and it hits an arm that's in a completely unnatural, well, not unnatural position, because I think that's a wrong phrasing, completely outside the silhouette of your body, and you maintain possession and an advantage, it should be disallowed. The referees agree with me because 10 minutes later, they disallowed a goal for City where Grealish miscontrolled the ball and it accidentally hit his arm. He maintained possession and they went on to score. So it's
first one, Terry, it was here. It was completely here. He didn't hit him anywhere here. So that's any below the elbow, I've agreed. But above the elbow there, it doesn't go.
Yeah, I mean, I can't show the footage because I'll get a copyright strike. But I'm just looking at it again now. It's nearer his hand than it is his shoulder. It's like basically forearm. But I don't know. Maybe I need my eye.
If you look at it the other angle, initially I thought that it's a penalty, but they kept replaying it, and I looked at it, and it was simply that's why they waved it completely straight away.
Oh, okay.
From the other angle, it looked clearly from the other. So I think clearly we beat them fairly. We could have beaten them more.
No, I think you would have, mate, as I said, I'm not playing you down. I still think 100%. I still think you were going to win the game. But as I've said on many streams, we should still call out these poor decisions, irrespective of the result. Because if you don't, all you're having is enabling poor decisions in the future that are going to impact you. And on the game this weekend, I'm not downplaying City. I think you're the best team in the world. It depends on what people nowadays consider me saying you're a better team than us. We've got too many injuries and we haven't clicked there yet this season. That's why I'm not confident of beating you. Some people would say that's an excuse. I don't think that's an excuse. I think it's a reasoning. I'm not playing it down. Am I fearful of Man City? Of course I am. You're the best team in the world, and we're nowhere near as good as we have been under Ten Hag, let alone to compete with you. So to beat you at the weekend would be an amazing achievement by Man United. And it would also be a bitterly disappointing result for you because you are so superior to us. So, and listen, if we beat you at the weekend and we sit only 3 points behind you in the league after how bad we are, I think there's more to be embarrassed about as a City fan than there is a Man United one. Wouldn't you agree, based on what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're under pressure. Your fans are split. You're scared. You're nervous. You know that if City do come there and we beat you, it'll be an embarrassing. I think we're expecting to win this game. We need to absolutely seal it in
Is
United.
it embarrassing if you're expected to win?
Wait, no. I think United, they're under huge pressure from the way the manager goes to every game and the way they're playing. They're just scraping wins against Copenhagen, Sheffield United, and they're relying on players like Maguire, McTominay to take them out of trouble. It's not a team I'm scared of. But if we do beat them, my God, it'll be United will be under huge pressure significantly. They're at home. They expect their fan base would expect to come out and show respect and play football. This is the great Man United, not to come out there scared. But in reality, I know all their fan base are scared because if we beat them, it nails it completely of how we are way superior to them.
But we know you're. Hang on. Stop. I need to stop you. We know you're superior to us right now. There isn't a forget someone who doesn't use their real name or face on Twitter. There is no Man United fan on planet Earth who doesn't know that you're a superior football team to us right now. Of course, we're fearful of losing to you because we know you are better than us. However, you're expected to win. You're the favorites for this game based on that very fact. So yes, if you smash us 5-6-7-0, it's embarrassing. But you not beating us surely has to be more embarrassing if you're that much superior to us. I don't see what I feel like you're doing here is speaking out of both sides of your mouth. It's almost we can't win, we're awful, we're crap compared to you, and therefore if we don't beat you, it's embarrassing. The overall state of the club is always embarrassing, but in terms of the individual result, how can the pressure be on us if you're the outright favourites?
But I'm saying from Man United being at home, the way they've been performing, a lot of their fan base expect, something called respect, fighting for the badge, and they would expect all their players to turn up there and win against their greatest rival, their biggest rival.
Again, I want to be ruthless about this. Forget what fans want to happen, because I want a lot of things that I can't have. Are Man United, in your opinion, the favourites on Saturday?
No,
Sunday,
you're not.
sorry.
We're favourites.
So you're the favourites, and you're a better team than us.
We're a better team than you, 100%.
So you're 100% better team. You're the favourites. So how can you claim that it would be embarrassing for Man United to not win?
I think it's because of this great Man United that they talk about being great.
Are we this great Man United anymore?
Nope.
So what again? So answer D-Man's question. If we're not the great Man United and you're superior to us in every way, and you're the favourites at Old Trafford, you're talking about us losing to you being embarrassing as though we're playing West Brom at home and losing. And that's, again, you can't be the superior, dominant top dog and also play the underdog at the same time. You either one or the other in sport.
A derby, I take everyone seriously. Yeah. You expect yourself as a derby to win that game.
Okay, sorry, let me stop you. So what I'm hearing is, as a derby match, you think that equals it, and on Sunday we're equal to you because it's a derby. So on Sunday you're not superior to Man United.
Yeah, because I remember.
Why didn't you say that in the first place?
I'll tell you what, Harry. I seen you coming to a derby against us in 2004, 14th of March. Yeah, where we beat you 3 or 4-1 with Sean Gore. You guys were favorites, but we expected our team to win. We're still because it's a derby. It's something that you have to play with passion. I know what you're trying to say. You expected for you guys, even if you lose, Terry, you have to agree it's embarrassing. It's a derby. There's something called self-respect.
No, he wants his team to win. You can't expect them to win.
And this is what I say has gone wrong with modern day football fans. What I want and what I expect based on where we are in reality are different things. Me and Lee Gunner must have this fight 20 times a year. Like we do 52 shows a year. So I reckon about 26 times a year we have this fight where he says your standards are too low. I don't expect my son who's 3 years old, to beat a 10-year-old in a race. I'd love him to though, but I just know at this moment in time where we are, where he is, he's not going to do that. I want to beat Man City. What I expect in the game is for us to not lose our heads if it goes wrong. I expect us to fight for every blade of glass. I expect us to try our hardest. I expect us to try and make this game competitive. Do I want to win? Yes, but you're a better team than us. Now, some people say that's not backing your football club. In my opinion, that's me not being delusional. And the irony in this is you've come on here and said, I'm playing you down. It's the other way around. Up until you realize, oh, damn, I can't be the underdog and the dominant force at the same time. So you're now saying that derbies make it equal. And maybe it does slightly. But listen, it's going to be an interesting game on Sunday. I want to win. I'll be disappointed if we don't from a fan perspective. But am I expecting to beat you? Right now, no, because we can't string more than 3 passes together. And midfield is being run through. We've got problems all over the pitch. I know we're in trouble. But the one thing I haven't done at any point is play down City. Calling you the best team in the world and one of the greatest English teams of all time, which I do on a regular basis, again, is the antithesis of playing you down. I get Hamza, I'm not one of those Twitter people, man. I'm not out here like, you're this. Even when it comes to, I did joke on Twitter today and said that if Everton are getting a 12-point deduction for one breach, I did tweet, you guys are going to end up at Hackney Marshes. But again, football, the world's dead now. People don't even take that as a joke. By the way, I've just watched the footage back of Jack Grealish. The ball goes nowhere near his chest. Like, it's not even, it literally, I just watched it again here. I wish I could play it. I'm going to show it to you. I'm actually going to show it to you boys when we finish the stream afterwards. But yeah, it's nowhere near his chest. It's an absolute stone wall. I've got some super chats here, boys. First one says, Haaland now top 20 all-time scorer in the Champions League, 37 in 33. Goal drought of 5 games ended. I'm surprised the Premier League teams aren't more superior to other leagues considering money spent. Yeah, I think it's a fair point, but European football, there's another super chat here that I think coincides with this. And this states, love the content, gentlemen. I never get a team not having Champions League experience. It's a big game like any other. I think it's the traveling, the midweek. It's the pace of the game is very, very different. Even the way the fans were. Look at the Newcastle fans in the first 20 minutes versus the next 60, 70. There was an animosity and a fear and not animosity, it's the wrong word, anxiety that was in the stadium. All these things factor in and play a part. And in terms of the Premier League teams not being more dominant, if you just look at finals of the major European competitions in the last 5-6 years, it's been so English. It dominated so much by the English teams from sort of 2017 onwards. It really has. You've had all English finals. What City have been in? City have been in a couple. City have been in a couple and won one. Liverpool have been in a couple and won one. Chelsea have been in one and won it, as an example. When you look at Europa League, United have been there and won it. West Ham winning. I think we are fairly dominant. And look, money is spent elsewhere. You've got to remember this happens though as well, is that you've seen this happen. Man United were going to be charged by RB Leipzig for Sabitzer. They wanted like 40 to 50 million. They let him go to Dortmund for about 15 million. So they will sell each other players a lot cheaper than they let Premier League clubs buy them for on the continent. So I think there's multiple things to factor in to that argument, if that makes sense.
Just quickly on the Champions League experience thing, I think it does count, because if you look at Newcastle, for example, I don't know if you saw the first 15, 20 minutes of that game. The pace of that game was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And if you see Joe Linton, he's known for being the box-to-box, the high energy. After about 35 minutes, watch Joe Linton, how he's blowing out of his arse. Like he's not used to it. He can handle the Premier League pace, whatever, but he looked like he wanted to die. Like, and that's his first Champions League game that he played, because he was injured for the first couple, whatever. But I think experience does go a long way, especially in tight games as well. I think experience does count. I think it does.
Yeah, listen, I think you're absolutely right, my friend. You really, really are in relation to that. Hamza, you're a complete fanboy, mate. Be objective. He's a City fan.
Listen, I'm passionate. I say how it is. I'm passionate. I dislike United. I look forward to that game. I want to win every game. I defend my club every game. And that's how I am as a fan. I enter there. I just war. I expect my players. If I see my players not giving it all, I come for them. I'm sorry. I'm that kind of fan. I just love my football.
I like that, mate. I like it. Hamza is the Pro Max of Ty from AFTV. My God, he is very delusional. That makes Ty a normal fan. I don't think do you know what it is? I don't think Hamza's delusional. I think Hamza fits into a category of he supported City a long time, and there's still a big part of his mentality that's used to being the underdog. But you get this in politics a lot. You can't be the dominant culture and the counterculture at the same time. A counterculture is always the cool thing. But if you're now the dominant culture, you can't be the counterculture and the cool thing because you're the mainstream. And right now, you're the main character. You can't also play. So Liverpool tried doing it for years like they were a Disney story. It's like, no, you're Liverpool Football Club. There's no Disney story here. Like, it is what it is. I want to thank everybody who has tuned into the show tonight. We are back tomorrow with the Top 6 show, reactions to the Europa League games as well. Please make sure you're hitting like buttons before you go and subscribing to the Football Terrace. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you.